LeBron James do next? I'm Tony. Welcome back to Streetball Strategies.
Never give up. You gotta see the future in the bigger picture. This is the fight of your life. You're looking in the mirror, and the belief that you have will help you see it clearer. This is your moment of clarity. It gets no realer.
At the recording of this video, the LA Lakers and LeBron James were recently swept out of the Western Conference Finals by the Denver Nuggets. He's obligated to one more year with the Los Angeles Lakers, but that doesn't mean that he couldn't possibly retire. So the question is, what is he going to do next, and what do I think he's going to do next? There are four major questions that I can think of when it comes to what LeBron James should do next. Let me know down in the comments if there's something I forgot. First question, the most immediate question, or at least the question that the media seems to be addressing the most, is what about LeBron playing in the NBA with his oldest son? LeBron has said many times that it's very important to him that he has the opportunity to play in the NBA alongside his son, Bronny. How much does that actually matter to LeBron? Because in order for him to do that, he'd have to play the whole 2024 season without him, and then go to whatever team Bronny gets drafted to in 2025. That means that LeBron would have to play an additional 160 games on top of the 38-year-old age that he already has in the NBA. Asking someone that age to play an additional 160 games in the NBA, that's asking a lot, even of LeBron James, who is as elite as he is as an athlete. Maybe an even better question in this category is, does it matter to Bronny? Does Bronny actually want to play alongside his dad? Because if I was Bronny, you have to think about it like, to play alongside your dad in the NBA, that means you have to pretty much sacrifice your entire and your only rookie season. That means every day, at every practice, every shoot around, every plane ride, every hotel, your dad is there next to you. Maybe Bronny would like that, but if I were him, I don't think I'd be too excited about it. The second question is about LeBron's actual physical capabilities moving forward over the next possible 2 years. And when it comes to his physical capabilities, there's three problems, right? One is father time. The fact that as he ages, as he puts miles and time on his body's just going to wear down. Now, obviously, like, LeBron is the standard bearer so far as, like high-level basketball at such an old age. But it's not like as he goes forward, his body's going to maintain that level or let alone get better somehow. There was a 5-week period this past regular season from LeBron's birthday on December 30th to the first week in February where LeBron was playing extraordinary basketball. Prior to that, this season, LeBron was playing average basketball. And then his birthday came, and for 5 weeks he was balling out. He was averaging about 38, 10, and 10. And then he hurt his foot, right? His leg. He had some kind of mysterious leg-foot injury that we weren't given the details to. He was out for like 6 weeks, then he said he hurried back, right? And when he came back, he was playing average-ish basketball again to help his team get into the playoffs. Then he stepped it up a little in the playoffs and playing a little bit better. In the Western Conference Finals, he averaged 28, about 10 and 10. So that means LeBron can turn it on. He can, he can push against father time when he chooses to. But obviously when he chooses to do that, he puts himself at even greater risk of injury. And as he ages, over the next 2 seasons, the risk for that's only going to get greater and greater. So the second part after father time is, when it comes to LeBron's physical capabilities, is what about injuries, right? Can he stave off injuries, nagging injuries, or hopefully not like detrimental, season-ending injuries? Can he avoid those over the next 2 years? And thirdly, and to me just as importantly as the other two, is what about the physical basketball momentum? Meaning, like, I know from direct personal experience, the more time you spend off of the basketball court and away from actually, playing basketball, the slower the physical basketball momentum gets. The slower that basketball momentum gets, the older you are, the harder it is to get it going again. So not only does LeBron have to keep his body fresh, not only does he have to rehab injuries that he may already have and try to avoid injuries moving forward. But at the same time, he has to find a way to keep himself on the court and keep that physical basketball playing momentum going, because if it slows down, or if he chooses to like take 6 weeks or 8 weeks off and stay off the court for the summer, and like, I'll get back to it in August, I'll get back on the court then, and at that point the playing basketball physical momentum has stopped, that's going to be completely detrimental to LeBron at his age. So how does he do all that? How does he keep himself healthy? How does he rehab and prevent injury and keep the basketball momentum going at the same time? And then to sustain that over 2024 and 2025. The third major question is, what about his team, right? How is his team going to be next season? There's speculation about maybe Kyrie Irving is going to come to the Lakers and play for them. Maybe even Trae Young's going to come over and be a starter for them. How is the team going to change and develop for this, final obligatory year that LeBron James has to the Lakers? If some terrible moves are made that LeBron completely disagrees with or is at odds with, and he knows going forward, like trying to play with those players on that team in 2024 is going to be a complete disaster, maybe he chooses not to come back at all. Because if the team's completely rearranged and it's has players on it that just don't gel with him and his game at his age, what would be the point of him even trying to have a disastrous basketball season when he could just walk away after making the Western Conference Finals? So is his team next year, that he has one more year obligated to, is that team going to be at least as good next year as it was this year? And the fourth question has to do for me with his contract. So he has one more year left on his contract with the Lakers. I think he gets about $40 million for that. And then in 2025, he's got a player option for $50 million. You would think that would be an obvious answer to most people, most players. Of course, if you can earn about $90 million over the next 2 years, of course you would come back and play. But remember, LeBron James is a billionaire already. So does it matter to him to miss out on that potential $90 million or not? So let's answer those questions. What do I think LeBron should do? What do I think he will do? First of all, with Bronny, I think it really does actually matter to LeBron to play basketball in the NBA with his son. I think that genuinely is important to LeBron to be able to do. While it may be a whole lot of effort on LeBron's part to keep himself in physical condition to do that, and while Bronny himself may not be very excited about kind of missing out on a typical rookie NBA season, I think the prospect of making history together like that, I think that is important enough to them that they will figure out how to play together in 2025. Second of all, LeBron's physical capabilities. I think LeBron has shown that he is a genetic freak when it comes to longevity, as well as everything else that he's already done in his career. On top of that, he's LeBron James, so he has access to the best trainers and coaches in the history of sports. So I think he can and will figure out a way to keep his body fresh, to deal with injuries, and to keep that basketball momentum going so that he can play at his highest possible level over the next 2 years. Even if that means playing very limited minutes in 2024 for the Lakers, if that means he can only play less than 30 minutes a game, and maybe he has to miss a few home games here and there, not road games. He should always play some minutes on the road, but if he has to miss a few home games here and there, if that's what it takes in order for him to keep his body fresh and keep away from injuries and keep that basketball momentum going, whatever it takes for him to be able to make it to 2025 as healthy as possible, I think that's what he can and should do. And then in terms of LeBron's team, what's his team going to look like next year? Is it going to want to actually come back to play on the Lakers next season, depending on how well their team is going to be able to perform? When it comes to that, in Darvin Ham, I trust. He's from my own Detroit Pistons 04 championship team, who was noted for playing defense and not having any superstar. I believe that if Rob Pelinka, in this offseason, as long as he gives Darvin Ham what he wants and what he needs, Darvin Ham will come back. He's had one whole season. He had preseason, whole season, postseason, now all this off season to understand his team, to understand what LeBron wants and needs, what AD wants and needs, and he can develop the team around them properly so that they can have at least as much success next year as they had this year, given that everybody has the same quality of health next year as they had this year. I believe in Darvin Ham. I believe he can figure it out. I believe he can make the Lakers better next year than they were this year. Hopefully LeBron feels the same way and he trusts Darvin Ham the way I do. And if he does that, I do definitely see LeBron coming back to the Lakers in 2024 because of that. And lastly, when it comes to LeBron's contract, I think this is the easiest one to answer because, of course, if you have $90 million that you can potentially earn, I think even LeBron James would be favorable to go ahead and earn that money. Even if he doesn't really feel like he needs it, he is definitely smart enough and charitable enough to know that that possible $90 million could go towards a good cause. He doesn't personally need it, but he can do a whole lot of good with it if he chooses to. However, he may choose to pass on that $50 million player option that he has for 2025. The reason I say that is because whatever team that Bronny gets drafted to, that team, it's very unlikely that they're going to be able to afford LeBron James because he demands the max every contract wherever he goes. LeBron knows that. LeBron knows that whatever team Bronny goes to, it's not going to be able to afford him as well, probably. So I think it would be in everybody's best interest, including LeBron's, that whatever team Bronny gets drafted to, you go there, LeBron, and you just take the minimum for that year. If playing with your son alongside him on the same team is so important to you, if it really does matter that much, then okay, take the minimum, play for pretty much nothing that year, and enjoy what will probably be your last season with your son. Because if you go to that team with Bronny and you force them to pay you the maximum amount they can afford, you're kind of bankrupting Bronny's team going forward. So you're going to play that 1 year with Bronny, probably retire, and then because of that contract that you demanded of that team, now their team is going to be broke. And that means going forward, Bronny's going to have no help after you retire, leaving him in a terrible position. So I think when LeBron does go to play with Bronny, he should take the minimum and not cash strap whatever team they happen to be on. That's what I think LeBron James should do next. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult on him physically and mentally to stick around for another 2 years. Because even if he has the best coaches and the best trainers and the best nutritionists and chefs on the planet, it's just going to be so physically demanding for him to stay healthy, avoid injuries, stay fresh, keep that basketball playing momentum going for the next 2 years. Even for him, I think he can do it because of his genetics, because of his discipline, because of, the momentum in his career that he's already, started this entire time. I think it's definitely possible, but it is going to be extremely difficult for him to do. And again, I know what it's like to be old and to continue to try to be on the basketball court. It's very hard to push your body when your body's pushing against you, because when you're young and your body gives you no resistance, and it's easy to get on the court and easy to run around and play and jump, then it's easy to stay passionate about it. But when your body's pushing against you and now you consciously have to force yourself every day to put in that work, when you've done it for 20 years, not only is that physically demanding on you, but it's also mentally draining as well. And when you put that physical demand on your body and then you have that mentally draining state all day, every day, it makes the game itself so much less fun. And when it's less fun, you're less passionate about playing every day. Lucky for LeBron, though, that he has kind of this unicorn, this pot of gold at the end of the rainbow in playing with his son in 2025 to help motivate him. Most players don't have that kind of a situation to look forward to aspire to use as motivation. Luckily, LeBron does. And in the meantime, going forward in 2024, as long as Rob Pelinka gives Darvin Ham what he needs on the Lakers to build the right kind of team around LeBron and AD, they have a great chance of having another deep playoff run next season. So while he's waiting for Bronny to get here, he can be a deep playoff team next year again. But being a competitive, a team going deep in the playoffs, potentially competing for, being a real contender for an NBA championship next year, and having that sort of, distract him from how difficult that season is going to be for him while he's waiting for Bronny to get into the league, that's super fortunate for LeBron. And then after that season, he gets to go and play with his son for a whole season, probably his last season before he retires. That is a great situation and circumstance for LeBron to be in. And I cannot wait to see how he handles it, how he goes about approaching, aging and getting older and having to deal with all of that throughout the next 2 seasons. Hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully the Lakers stay healthy and they can, really put a good, hard effort towards going deep in the playoffs again next year. And then when hopefully LeBron gets to play with Bronny, that's going to be exciting to see as well. It's going to be historic. So I'm rooting for LeBron in this endeavor to play the next 2 years and end up playing with his son. I can't wait to see how it goes. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, comment down below and let me know what you think. Do you agree, disagree? What would you do if you were LeBron? Make sure you hit that thanks button too. When you hit that thanks button, not only do all of the comments that you're about to make get highlighted so they stand out from everybody else's comments, but it directly supports the channel when you hit that thanks button. So anybody who does know, I genuinely appreciate it. As always, like, share, comment like I said. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever any video goes live on this channel. And until then, I'll see y'all next week.
I'ma keep fighting. I will hold